is wokeism, or being woke these days? There used to be an actual definition sometime back in the day when the term woke first originated, such as being aware of systemic inequality and racism. It can be extended to awareness of sexism, homophobia, etc. But nowadays, being woke doesn't seem to be quite the same as just woke anymore, as it is often used in a negative sense by what I'd like to personally call the anti-woke. Now, why am I bringing up all this in the first place, and what does this have to do with Hololive? Well, that is for one simple reason. Gigi, and to some milder extent Raura, sort of came out recently in the last week of May. In a super chat stream on May 26, 2025, Gigi said that she is on the ace spectrum and demiromantic.
Guys, I'm sharing with you. It's almost been a year since Justice has been around. Gee, Lord Drop. I think I'm on like, I lean tends to, I personally lean towards, I'm like, I would say, I lean on the ace spectrum. And that is where I'm at. And it's just like, I don't see things like sexually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely, it's like demi-romantic, you know? Which is to say, people are like, isn't that everyone? But I don't think, it's like when I hear people talk about it, I don't feel towards their experiences, you know? Like I hear other people's experiences, I'm like, I don't line up with your experiences. And so people are always like, oh yeah, but that's just normal. And I'm like, but when I hear people talk about their experiences, I just don't connect with them. Do I feel romanticism though? I would say I feel like I'm a romantic at heart. I like seeing romantic gestures. But I feel like a lot of things have to be added up and slotted in the correct position for it to be romantic to me. Like I can appreciate a romantic gesture, but everything has to line up perfectly.
And for Raura, she wrote in chat, "silly little bycat," which some of her fans have decided to interpret it in the less woke way of saying it might just be a typo, which, sure. Shortly after these respective streams, memes and clip sharing began spawning on my Twitter feed with stuff like, "Let's go!" with Gigi on the ace flag background, Gigi and Rin Penrose both being the two known open asexual corpo VTubers, at the time of their announcements at least. The fact that their designer artist now has two confirmed ace kids, which is definitely an interesting coincidence, and more memes where they are alive but ace or bi in Raura's case. The day after Gigi's initial announcement, she had another stream and had a small segment in it near the end of the stream where she talks about how she saw that others were happy about her spontaneous Gigi lore drop and how it made them feel represented.
You know, yesterday I was just talking about it. It was very casual. Dropped in the middle, also another 7-hour stream. I was like, whatever, you know, I'll just say it. Because, I don't know, to me, it's just it's my everyday normal, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I saw people talking about it on Twitter, and they're like, wow, it's like, I guess it's nice, always nice to hear just someone saying something. And then you're like, oh, so I'm not alone in my experience. And it's always just nice to know, like, if you're just sitting alone at home, that you're not alone feeling a certain way or feeling an experience. And I thought that was, I was like, oh, it was actually sharing was very beautiful and it made me happy. I was able to learn about myself. I think that's the thing. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of words and people get intimidated by a lot of words, but it's like, you know, you don't feel the common experience that's shown in like media and stuff, or like you're just talking to your friends and they're sharing experiences. And when you don't feel those common experiences or you can't relate to them, it can feel a little isolating. So I just think like having something and you're like, oh, I resonate with this and it makes sense and it makes you feel less weird. And I think that's totally fine and normal. You just find something that you're like, oh, this kind of fits with me. And it kind of makes sense.
And overall, it should have been just a cute, innocuous little thing where the queers and progressive people rejoice and go, yippee, and we all move on, right? Well, sadly, in this world that we live in, there's some people out there that dislike this, thinking it's woke and essentially engaging in asexual erasure or denialism with their arguments. For instance, here comes in a random Twitter user named Dyrone8 with his hot take of the day with, quote, I actually watch Hololive to escape wokeism, and this kind of BS labeling system, I'm ace or maybe demisexual, is the exact shit I don't want to see from a VTuber. If management had any effing sense, they'd tell her to shut the F up about it yesterday. And oh boy, the quote retweets and replies to this guy were basically dunking on him, ratioing him with a real Hololive fan never speaks ill of Gigi Murin, and you are not a Hololive fan, and especially not a Gigi fan if you don't accept her the way she is. You're an effing moron and a bigot sharing comments like that. Be better, and if you don't like it, don't say anything and leave. We don't want you here. When looking into what this guy was even arguing about, because he sure was active in the reply sections to his own post, it becomes incredibly obvious that he doesn't view the female talents having lesbian moments with each other as actually woke or gay because, in his eyes, all lesbian stuff is made for straight men. In response to someone saying HOLO is not woke and lesbians choose one, he says, yeah, because lesbians automatically equal woke. The gorillion hours of lesbian corn on the internet was clearly made for fat, purple-haired, libtard butch lesbians and not the massive audience of straight men. A response by another person was, insulting a whole sexuality because you don't like moving anime girls flirting with each other is crazy, and I cannot agree more. Bro seems to hate and stereotype actual lesbians, but clearly fetishizes lesbianism to suit his straight male fantasies. When he asks someone to, quote, name one thing in Hololive that's woke, and no, rampant and aggressive lesbianism isn't woke, he clarifies that two chicks kissing and effing is like every chud's dream. You can't own the chuds with that, sorry. He continues with another reply where he says, you realize all the lesbian bits are for straight men, right? You, the queers, don't even factor in. Why do y'all act like you matter? You're like 10% of the population on a good day. Hololive butters its bread with chud dollars. Y'all don't make a dent, and they know it. Which is just incredibly dismissive to all the queer fans that feel welcome and included in the Hololive fandom. In another reply thread, one person said, I love how men are so self-centered that they even try to make lesbianism about them, XD. To which Dyrone replies, so you think they're all flaming gays, that they simply must constantly pepper in horny sapphic comments and actions? Or do you think it's the much more logical answer that they're doing it because they realize their majority male audience likes it? They then get the reply back of, Fauna said in a video description of her past life that she is bisexual. Nerissa interacts a lot with the lesbians on this app. I doubt the way she is on streams is only for men. Kiara says she had a girlfriend in the past. And with your logic, Gigi saying she might be ace is for the woke agenda, but lesbian jokes are for the male gaze? You realize you are picking and choosing your narrative when it's convenient for you only. They are probably exaggerating for content, sure, but I doubt they are straight as sticks. To which, of course, Dyrone never replied to. But that user has a point that if these women were truly straight as an arrow, they sure all wouldn't be engaging in the gay jokes they do with one another so frequently, now would they? You wouldn't have Shiori out here giving Nerissa a smooch and playing it off as getting her nose, with the other girls insisting it was a kiss.
I know what to do.
Okay.
A kiss isn't dependent on the place where the kiss was placed. It depends on the person doing the kissing.
Lip? As long as the lip was involved?
Yeah, well, Shiori's lips were involved. I think we deserve
True.
that.
If her lips touched anywhere part of her body, that is a kiss.
Exactly. So we were right. You were wrong. Okay.
I was half right. Because I still had kiss in my answer.
ずるいな. What? See?
Nerissa just shamelessly flirting and asking, what if I kissed you?
I guess you're both gonna have to kiss me, huh? She's just gonna turn into a phoenix anyway.
What?
There's no there's no point.
Or maybe I'll turn into a pirate. Arg.
Oh,
What if I
because
kissed
you were
you?
your own true love.
What would you
Then-
turn into?
No, that's not how this works.
Girl wanting smoochies.
Kiss me, damn it! Come here!
I'm sorry, good. I didn't mean to.
And whatever the hell Auto Fister got going on, TBH.
Wait, do you think if like you put the if you put it like, you know what I mean? You see what I see? Do you think I'll get your powers?
I don't know. Maybe if it goes into it.
Okay.
Which again, if this Dyrone person likes the lesbian stuff too, which even Gigi does some arguably shippy stuff with Cecilia, he apparently draws the line when things get too, quote, woke for his personal tastes. After all, anything too woke these days is often used by certain people to express anything that's too progressive that they dislike. And it's obvious this person doesn't even know what being asexual even means. He thinks that identifying as an animal, such as a dragon or a dolphin, is on the same level of, quote, delusion as being ace or demi, which is wild because comparing animals to the same thing as a word to describe feeling little to no sexual attraction or valuing a strong emotional bond before feeling romantic feelings for someone is absolutely not the same thing whatsoever. But considering the same person said, so being ace is considered queer, so it is woke. Thanks for proving my point. Just tells me this person is completely ignorant about what being queer even is. Hey, fun fact, did you know that being anything not heteronormative, aka straight, means you're queer? So that includes gay people, lesbians, bisexuals, pansexuals, and even asexuals? Wow, who would have known all of that is queer and therefore woke? When that alone isn't enough for Dyrone, they also assume Hololive isn't full of people of color. He says, yeah, they're so woke they don't even have a single person of color talent on their entire roster. Do y'all even think before you speak? Y'all don't even know what woke is. Ironic coming from the guy who believes lesbians and Yuri isn't queer and therefore woke, but okay. Continuing on, the person responds, buddy, do you think people of color is just black people or something? To which Dyrone responds with, usually you require a color to be a person of color, so yeah, I'd say Asians don't really count, unless you want to be racist and say they're all yellow. But let's grant your premise and say everyone in the JP branch are people of color. Still a huge lack of blacks, Indians, indigenous, etc. And man, I don't even know where to start with this one. Calling Asians not a person of color is just flat out racist and wrong. And so is demeaning all Asians to the color yellow when we have a variety of skin tones in the Asian side of things too. But another responds with, so we have Japan, Austria, America, Italy, Germany, Indonesia, England, Canada, only from the top of my head. None of them are outright black, yes, but Japanese to EU or America alone is a difference. And then there is Indonesia. Let's stay stereotypical and say Indonesia is dark, then we have people of color. There is definitely a lot of variety in Cover Corp, this is undeniable. To basically say people of color don't exist in Hololive just because every model they've seen that's currently active is fair-skinned is absolutely appalling. The people behind them are very real, as are their sexualities. Continuing on with how absolutely brain dead this person is, someone had said, it doesn't really matter what you think other people should be allowed to say about who they feel they are as a person, nor should management interfere in any way. They're a human being, not a toy you buy in a store for your own personal amusement. To which Dyrone replies with, no, they actually should interfere, and I hope they already did so. This is the last time we'll hear about it. If you want to be able to 100% say whatever you want, then stay indie and don't join Hololive. Another replies, why would management care? They've talked about sexuality before. Why would they care now? And this is true given the other anecdotes and clips that exist from other people long before Gigi. If we want to look at the other side of Cover Corp and at Holostar's EN for instance, Banzo and Haka recently came out as pansexual,
No one makes drinks like a purple-haired bisexual barista. Pansexual? I don't judge. I'm rated E for everyone.
Has said proud of you on June 1st, and Gibby, or Gold Bullet, quite explicitly said queers, the gays, is that month, baby. You matter, your identity does. Who you are and what you are will always be enough and appreciated. And it's June 1st. It's Pride Month, y'all. And Gibby has spoken up about being a safe space in the past.
I'm gonna say something that I feel like surprisingly is a hot take, which is weird, but I really don't give a shit. This will always be an LGBT-friendly space. It will always be, at least for me. Can't speak for everyone, but for me it will. There's a lot of you people out there who are of this community, and I love that community. I've been within this community for a long time. And I see crazy shit. Absolutely obscene shit. I fucking hate it. There are times where I look on the internet and I see people within this community being treated like they're nothing. And a lot of you Holostars communities, not just the Bubbies, but from Armis to Tempura to everywhere in Holostars and Hololive for that fact, are in fact, you know, part of the LGBT. I want you to know that your life has meaning and value. Your life has more value than you know. So don't let any law or anything gross that prohibits you from living your life to the fullest, don't let that go against you. You're more than that, and you always will be. I have, of course, I see a lot of you Bubbies who are trans, and I'm proud of you. A lot of you are transitioning as well. Thank you for being that strong. That is so sick. It's so awesome. Thank you for saying that. Of course. Absolutely. You guys really mean a lot to me.
Clearly, Cover Corp management does not care at all if people mention their sexualities, celebrate Pride Month, or make any notion about being queer or supportive of the LGBTQ+ community. It is not a crime, it is not damaging the company's overall reputation, and it is not simply something that's spreading or suddenly getting woke. No, it's just all these creators who are arguably woke have always been, quote, woke, even before they joined the company. It's just that the anti-woke people who hate the queers are the ones continuously bitching and moaning every time they get reminded that the people behind these avatars aren't just fictional puppets for their straight fantasies. And someone out there might be asking, Saf, why did he spend all this time to harp on some random dude on the internet on Twitter of all platforms? And it's because it's apparent that, despite his poorly received opinion by the community at large, there are still many within the Hololive fandom on Twitter that do agree with him. This random profileless, bannerless person on Twitter with 117 followers and no blue checkmark managed to get over 500 likes on his poor take. There's also plenty in the hidden replies of the post he quote retweeted of people saying stuff like new Hololive Gen is Tumblr shit, calling queer people pushing a freakazoid agenda, and demanding they get put on a cross for it, and also claiming it was somehow out of context when no, the context was pretty damn clear, bestie. Then comparing it to Rainbow Mafia, how they hate trans people so much, comparing asexuality to chronic diarrhea, and if you need hundreds of other people to validate you, you're never going to be happy. R-word woke babble, Gigi somehow doesn't represent asexuals because she's an individual, despite this person not knowing that having any crumb of representation in a big platform is just nice TM, and more garbo fucking takes that is basically asexual erasure because what Gigi described is literally every human on Earth. Like, no? I'm on the asexual and aromantic spectrum as well, probably demiromantic myself, and I can say for a fact that I didn't just arrive to this conclusion because I'm traumatized or whatever. It is just that, simply, compared to the experiences I've heard from other sexualities, including straight people, my experience just doesn't line up. I don't feel sexual attraction to someone just because they're smoking hot, nor do I feel the romantic pull to just anyone who does romantic gestures at me. I don't find it easy to fall head over heels or love at first sight with anyone, nor can I go on a singular date or even a series of dates. and find it in me to hook up with them afterwards without having an established deep connection. It just doesn't work in the way that regular people hook up and date and get married. So to call me broken and lying to myself is absolutely appalling. Asexuals and aromantic people are valid, and I refuse to hear this Gigi slander being considered too woke when quite literally Hololive has been and will continue to be woke because of all the gays and queer stuff in it that appeals to the queers too. It's one thing if some people want to pretend it's all just purely only for straight people, but you cannot deny that it has some allure to the queers as well. Thankfully though, it seems that it is only a vocal minority that get upset by this, and for all we know, they are purely only on Twitter and possibly some corners of 4chan. It seems otherwise, the rest of the fandom is pretty happy and mostly normal. I just thought it was a cool thing for Gigi to be so casual and open about her sexuality, dropping it on a whim in a random super chat reading stream. May everyone who's openly queer and an ally in Cover Corp, and any corpo for that matter, enjoy Pride Month this year. No amount of, quote, anti-wokeism is going to diminish the love the queer community has for each other and to be the voice for those that need one. Because in today's online social climate, we need to be there for one another and united more than ever. Speaking of queer stuff, for the rest of Pride Month, I will be doing more streams over on Twitch and raising money for charity as part of Absolute Pride Resonance to Absoluter Pride Resonancer. All donations on the Tiltify go straight to Outright International, an organization that addresses human rights violations and advocates for inclusion and equality of the LGBTQ+ community. There will also be a link below if you just prefer that as well. My stream schedule will be uploaded weekly on my Twitter and Blue Sky. Feel free to check me out. That's it for my self-shilling. Till next time, everyone, keep it vibin' and happy Pride Month. Bye!